So in this video, we are going to look at knowledge questions and particularly knowledge and code comprehension questions together. Knowledge questions are fairly straightforward. Make sure you look at the number of marks, define the term algorithm, and obviously you either know the answer to this or not because your exam spec will have some definition, but let's see if we can get the 2 marks for it. So an ordered sequence of steps which solves a problem or carries out a process. Now, do I know the definition of an algorithm AQA spec off the top of my head? No, not really. But it's given me the little hint that it's 2 marks. The steps are important. The problem are important. The process may or may not be important. It's about knowing where the center of gravity is in questions like this. And those are the 3 places where I've put them. I've also put in ordered because, of course, you might have the steps without the structure of the order, in which case the algorithm won't work. It is a lot about just knowing the definitions from whatever source you get them from. Similar to this time we just asked to match the definition and the word. It gets more complicated though when we are asked to apply our knowledge, because in applying knowledge questions we are not simply asked for the definition of something. We're asked to identify an example of one. So take this here, shade 1 lozenge, which shows the line number where selection is first used. So I need to know that selection are the moments in which the computer branches or makes a decision. And in this program, we'll pause the video here and rather than answer the question, when is it first used, see if you can answer the bigger question, which is how many different line numbers are examples of selection. And I would argue, I'm assuming you've unpaused the video, I would argue that line 2, line 4, line 6, line 8 are all examples of selection, as are line 12 and line 14. And actually, if you think about line 3, well, that's a block within a selection statement. So in some ways, you might even include that. And that's the reason why it said the first used in the algorithm shown, because from line 2 onwards, it could be basically every line is in some ways, except maybe line 11, is in some ways involved in selection. So it's worth thinking about these problems from the big picture to understand them. And then I've also got to be able to identify what selection would look like in the code. And it has that structure of if, then a condition. And then in pseudocode, it has the word then, but in Python, it's going to have a colon. And so we know that this is going to be line number 2. That's the first time it happens. And then the same thing for iteration. Now, iteration's a bit simpler, but it's still first used for a similar problem, and that's going to be line number 11. So knowledge questions are simpler in the sense that you do need to know how to do things, or sorry, not know how to do things, know what the definition is. But it's not just that simple. You also need to be able to identify an example. If this was biology, you're going to have a similar thing. I'm not just asking you for the definition of a mammal. I might give you a list of animals and ask you which one of these is the mammal.